That evening, instead of pulling on his hoodie, Elliot did something unthinkable. He slipped the dress over his head again, this time with a cardigan and a scarf to soften its shimmer. When he looked in the mirror, his heart raced, not with fear, but with anticipation. He didn't look like Elliot the quiet boy anymore. He looked like someone new. Someone real. Maya gasped when she saw him outside the school auditorium. "You're beautiful," she whispered, adjusting his scarf. "Nobody's going to recognize you. Tonight, you're free." For the first hour, it felt true. The dim lights, the hum of chatter, the colorful paintings lining the walls, nobody gave Elliot a second glance. He wandered from display to display, breathing easier with every step. For once, he wasn't pretending. He was living. But safety never lasts long. From across the room, a sharp pair of eyes locked onto him. "Mr. Carraway." Elliot froze. The teacher's gaze lingered far too long, suspicion burning behind his smirk. He stepped forward, but Maya quickly intercepted, pulling Elliot toward a group of students. "Don't look back," she whispered urgently. "Just blend in." Easier said than done. Half an hour later, Elliot slipped into the empty hallway by the lockers to catch his breath. That's when the voice came, low and cutting. "Nice dress." He spun around. Carraway leaned casually against the wall, arms crossed. "I knew it," the teacher sneered. "I knew there was something off about you. And now you've just handed me the proof." Elliot's knees nearly gave out. "Please, don't tell anyone." Carraway stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Oh, I won't tell them." "Not yet. But you will do exactly as I say, or I'll make sure this little performance ends up on every student's lips by Monday." Elliot's stomach dropped. He wanted to run, but Carraway's shadow felt larger than the hallway itself. That's when Maya appeared, stepping out from behind the lockers. Her voice cut like steel. "You won't say a word." Carraway's smirk faltered. "And why not?" Maya lifted her phone, the screen glowing. "Because I recorded everything you just said." For the first time, it was Carraway's turn to freeze. The hallway pulsed with silence, the three of them locked in a dangerous triangle. Elliot's secret was safe, for now, but the battle had only just begun. Maya's phone screen glowed like a weapon in the dim hallway. Carraway's smugness had cracked for the first time, but he wasn't the type to surrender. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "You think a recording will save him? Kids don't listen to recordings. They listen to rumors. And once I start them, they'll spread faster than fire." Maya didn't flinch. "Try me." Carraway's eyes darted between her phone and Elliot's trembling hands, clutching the hem of the dress under his cardigan. Then, with a hiss, he turned and walked away, his shoes echoing like gunshots down the hall. The silence he left behind felt heavier than his threats. Maya slipped her phone into her pocket and looked at Elliot. "You're safe for now. But he's not finished." Elliot nodded weakly. Safe wasn't the word he would have chosen. It felt like standing on a tightrope, waiting for the wind to blow. By Monday morning, the storm began. Carraway didn't say Elliot's name out loud, but during class he dropped little comments. "Some students, live lies. Boys who dress up are a disgrace. Secrets always come out." Each phrase stabbed Elliot like a knife. He glanced around nervously, half expecting the whole class to turn on him. Luckily, nobody connected the dots yet. But the tension gnawed at him. Every laugh in the hallway sounded sharper. Every whisper felt like it was about him. At lunch, Maya found him hunched over his tray, untouched food cooling in front of him. "He's trying to break you," she said firmly. "But listen, if he pushes harder, we'll push back harder." Elliot shook his head. "I'm not strong enough for this. What if everyone finds out? What if," his voice cracked, "what if they hate me?" Maya grabbed his hand. "Then we make them see the real you. Not his lies. Yours." That evening, Elliot returned to Seraphine's cottage, seeking comfort. The old woman watched him pace the room, eyes clouded with fear. "Child," she said softly, "shadows only hold power if you stay in them. Step into the light and they lose their grip." Elliot's voice trembled. "But if I step into the light, they'll all see me." Seraphine placed the wooden box on the table again, but this time, there was more than a dress inside. A small silver pendant glimmered among the folds. This is not just for beauty. It is for courage. Wear it and remember, the only chains Caraway can use against you are the ones you choose to wear. Elliot clasped the pendant around his neck, feeling its weight settle against his chest. For the first time, a spark of determination burned through his fear. But outside the cottage, hidden among the trees, Caraway's figure lingered in the shadows. He had followed Elliot there, and as he scribbled furiously in his black notebook, his lips curled into a whisper. If he won't break in the dark, then I'll drag him into the light myself. Wednesday morning started like any other, but Elliot felt a strange heaviness in the air as soon as he stepped into school. Conversations hushed when he walked past. Eyes lingered longer than usual. It was as if the whole building had been waiting for him. By the time he slid into his seat in Caraway's history class, his stomach twisted into knots. Something was wrong. Caraway stood at the front of the room, unusually cheerful, holding a stack of papers. Today, he announced, we'll be discussing identity, truth, and deception throughout history. His gaze cut directly to Elliot as he placed the stack on the desk. And perhaps, some examples from right here in Maplewood. The room filled with curious murmurs. Elliot's chest tightened. Maya, sitting a row away, shot him a warning glance. Caraway handed out papers with smug precision. When Elliot unfolded his, the blood drained from his face. It wasn't a worksheet. It was a photocopy of a sketch, one of his private drawings of himself as a girl, taken straight from his sketchbook. A low ripple of laughter spread through the classroom. Someone whispered, "Is that Elliot?" His hands shook as he tried to hide the paper, but Caraway's voice sliced through the noise. "Go on, Mr. Ashford. Care to explain to the class why you're so creative with your imagination?" Elliot's vision blurred with panic. His secret exposed, mocked, turned into a weapon. He wanted to vanish, to disappear into the floor. But then his fingers brushed the silver pendant around his neck. Seraphine's words echoed in his mind. The only chains he can use against you are the ones you choose to wear. Elliot's breathing steadied. His fear didn't vanish, but something else rose to meet it, defiance. He stood, clutching the sketch. "Yes, I drew this," he said, his voice trembling but growing steadier with each word. "Because this is who I really am. I'm not ashamed of it." The room fell into stunned silence. Maya's eyes filled with pride, but Caraway's smile hardened. "How brave. But do you really think your classmates will accept that?" For a moment, nobody moved. Then a girl in the back, one of the quietest in class, spoke up. "I think it's beautiful." Another voice chimed in. "Yeah, what's wrong with drawing yourself how you want to be?" The whispers grew louder, but this time they weren't mocking. They were curious. Supportive. Caraway's jaw clenched. His trap had backfired. Elliot had stepped into the light instead of breaking in the dark. But as the bell rang and the class dispersed, Caraway leaned close to Elliot, his words a venomous hiss. "You think you've won? This is only the beginning. I'll make sure you regret ever stepping out of line." Elliot met his glare, heart pounding, but for the first time, he didn't look away. Elliot left history class with his heart racing, the sketch crumpled in his hand. He had expected laughter, maybe even cruelty. Instead, he walked out with something he hadn't dared imagine: support. In the hallway, a couple of students approached him hesitantly. "That was brave," one said, a boy from math class who had never spoken to him before. Another added, "Don't let Caraway get to you. He's the one who looks pathetic, not you." Elliot's throat tightened. These weren't grand declarations of friendship, but they were cracks in the wall of isolation he'd been trapped behind for years. When he met Maya by the lockers, she was practically glowing. "You see? They don't all hate you. Some of them are finally seeing the real you." Elliot touched the silver pendant at his neck. For once, he allowed himself to believe it might be true. But Caraway wasn't done. That evening, he sat alone in his office, slamming his black notebook onto the desk. The students hadn't turned against Elliot like he wanted. If anything, they'd rallied around him. His grip on control was slipping. He flipped to a fresh page, writing furiously. "If I can't destroy him in class, I'll do it outside. Make it public." Humiliation is stronger than whispers. His eyes narrowed as a cruel idea took root. The next day, Elliot noticed odd looks from a few students, this time, not supportive, but mocking. Something had changed overnight. In the cafeteria, a phone screen flashed in his direction, followed by stifled laughter. He caught a glimpse before it disappeared into someone's pocket, a blurry photo of him in the pale blue dress from the art showcase. Elliot's blood ran cold. How do they have that?" he whispered. Maya's face hardened. "Caraway. He must have followed us that night. He's spreading pictures." Elliot felt the walls closing in. The secret he had clung to so desperately wasn't just whispered about anymore. It was circulating. By the final bell, his name was buzzing on dozens of phones. He could hear fragments in the hallway. "Is that really him?" "No way. Actually, he looks kinda good." Every comment was a dagger, even the kinder ones. He rushed outside, desperate to breathe, but Caraway was waiting by the gate, leaning casually against the fence. "Enjoying your fame?" the teacher asked with a twisted smile. "This is just the beginning. By next week, the whole town will know." Elliot's fists clenched at his sides. For the first time, anger burned hotter than fear. "You can try to ruin me," he said, voice shaking, "but you can't stop me." Caraway laughed, low and cruel. "We'll see." As Elliot stormed away, Maya hurried after him. "You're not alone," she said firmly. "If he wants war, then we'll fight back." Elliot looked at her, the pendant heavy against his chest. He wasn't sure how, but he knew this was only the start of a much bigger battle. Elliot sat on Maya's bedroom floor, knees tucked to his chest. The silver pendant glimmered faintly against the lamplight, but tonight it felt heavier than ever. His phone buzzed with notifications he didn't dare open, screenshots, whispers, more blurry photos. Caraway's poison was spreading faster than they could contain it.